Hey, this Christmas, I wanted to get you guys something that was special. And so me and Dad sat down and came up with a few ideas for this video. I know that a lot of times we talk about how we wish that we had more videos or footage or memories with Mom. And so I thought this would be something cool to have, not just for now, but for later on in life. After our parents pass away, to have something that we can look back on, just to me seems like it would be really special. So Dad and I sat down and he actually hand wrote all of his answers and really thought about it. He even got emotional a couple times when he was making it. And he sat down and he talked about each individual kid and wanted to make something personalized for you. So Merry Christmas, I love you.
Busted his butt, didn't he?
Oh, on that road.
Yeah. All right, so you ready?
Ready?
So what we talking about first?
Okay, we're gonna talk about Jamie Lynn first.
Okay, so the main thing I remember about Jamie Lynn as a baby was she was smart as all get out. So she never played with toys hardly at all. She was happy if she had a book or two to read. And we would get ready to go somewheres and go on vacation or whatever, and all the kids would load all their toys up, and Jamie, she'd get 2 or 3 books and she'd put them in the car with her, and that's what she would do, and she'd be happy from there on out. When it come time to go to bed, just give her a book and she'd go to sleep. And she was always that way from day one, and she still is. Ta-da.
What was the next question?
I don't remember. Let's see.
What's your favorite memory?
Okay, so my favorite memory about Jamie, and of course it has to do with softball, because the girls were so much involved with softball. We were playing softball one time, and Jamie was coming home, and the catcher had the ball and was standing in front of the plate. Jamie was obviously out. There was no way she was going to not be out. So she just kind of trotted up there and done her hands up, kind of like up there, and was going to just act like she was just kind of dancing up and going to give herself up to the catcher. She got right there by her, and she just kind of done a doop, jumped around her, and was safe at home. And that was probably one of my funniest, greatest adventure ever. I mean, a memory ever of Jamie. It was really funny. Ta-da. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. So ugly.
Huh?
I remember her tiptoeing. Like,
Yeah, she was like tiptoeing, bloop, went all the way around, and that was kind of funny. And then the other one was,
what do you admire most about Jamie?
she's hard-headed. Let me see, I forgot what I did. Okay, so what I do admire most about Jamie is, for one thing, she's bound to succeed mentally. I admire her independence. She's always been able to be independent and stand on her own and take care of herself or do whatever she needed to do. And not only that, but probably one of the things that I don't have and I admire most about Jamie is her ability to remember everything. She can read something one time when she was 5 years old and she still remembers it today. And it's still that way, and I have no doubt that she will succeed as a nurse practitioner, because she's got the memory of a dang whatever. Who has the best memory?
Elephants?
Elephant, yeah.
Do you want to say anything to Jose for the babies?
I can't.
So we can include him a little bit?
And so the other thing too about Jamie, I really, when her and Jose first got together, so I was like, I ain't so sure about this relationship, how this thing's gonna work. I didn't know Jose, and he, I'll never forget when he was young, before they were married, we were doing something out the house, and we were gonna jump a car, and I told him to go jump a car or something like that there, and he told me, Mr. Joe, I don't know how to jump a car. And I was like, what kind of guy is raised on a ranch and don't know how to jump a car? This will never ever work. But you know what? He's turned out to be one that I couldn't ask for a better son-in-law. He is absolutely amazing. He treats my daughter amazing and all his kids amazing. And I'm just really, really fortunate to have a son-in-law like him. And their kids, all of them, Bella, Tristan, and Sam are just, you couldn't ask for a better family. They're perfect, man. So.
Good.
Good. Oh, there it was. So, okay, as a child, Jessie was a little bit different than the rest of them. She did not like but like 3 people. That was it. She liked me and her mom and Miss June, and that was about it. She didn't want anybody else holding her, anybody else touching her. And as a little one, somebody had to hold her just about all the time. I mean, she was always fussing just because she wanted attention. But as a young kid, one of the funniest things I remember about Jessie is she had this bathing suit she used to like to wear. And it's a little 2-piece bathing suit, and she wore that bathing suit all the time. I mean, all day long, all night long. If it was dirty, her mama had to wash it because she had to have that bathing suit on. And that's one of the main things I remember about her as a little kid. And she was always so dark. The bad thing was she would go outside, she'd take her top off. So she didn't even have no bathing suit line, she just had her tan line like a little boy. But she had to have it all the time. That was her bathing suit. Let's see.
Your favorite memory, or unless that was it.
No.
Kind of.
Okay, so my favorite memory, I have a lot of them, but one of my favorite memories with Jessie also has to be softball orientated because that's my life and that's what I love and that's what we love, and we did a lot of stuff together and had a lot of good times. So I think probably besides going to college and getting getting her scholarship, that was pretty neat too, but probably the most funnest and best time I remember with Jessie, we were at a high school playoff game. And she was the pitcher at the game, and we had already lost the first game, and we were playing the second game, and it was tied up, and it was the last inning. I think we were already in overtime, and Jessie came up to bat. There was nobody on base, and she hit a walk-off home run. And to me, that was probably one of my highlights of her softball career, because she just walked off and won the game. It was pretty cool because she was pitching and hitting. Needless to say, after that, the most interesting thing happened was after the game was over, the other memory I had was of Bert and Charlotte Wellman getting into a fist fight with the other team, and that was pretty funny. Right? What else? What's this one, Jessie?
What is the best quality, even though I have all the good qualities?
Just pick one.
Okay, so that's easy for Jessie. So probably Jessie's one of her best qualities is she's so sincere, and her ability to love everybody so much. She just loves everybody, and the whole family. She's family orientated, real easy to get along with. Whatever you want to do, she's okay with it. And that's probably one of her best traits is to be able to get along with everybody and love everybody no matter what, you know.
Anything you want to say to my husband and kids?
Oh, so to Jessie's future husband, you need to treat her right. If you treat her right, I promise you she will make you the best wife you ever had or ever could ask for.
Thanks. You hear that, boys?
And any girls must play softball. No doubt. So with Joe Bubba, I guess one of my favorite memories with him was as a young kid, he was being homeschooled by his mom. And I worked kind of a crazy schedule, so when I would get off, it might be on a Monday or Tuesday or whatever, I would get off and I'd tell him to say, "Come on with me today, Joe. You're going to be learning with the master. The master's going to teach you today." And so I'd take him out with me, and whatever we were doing that day, whether we were fixing fence or working with a tractor or whatever it was, Joe was right there with me. And I remember one time he was probably maybe 7 or 8 years old at the oldest, and of course he'd been running tractor all his life or on it with me. And we had a horse that had died, and so I didn't have no way to move that horse by myself. So I got Joe out there, and we were using the front end loader. I put him on the front end loader, and I would do all the rigging and everything. And Joe picked up that horse and actually moved it and put it on the trailer as a 7 or 8 year old, and by himself. And all I did was unhook the chains and hook them back up again. And then we went over to my dad's house and buried the horse, and he did the same thing. He did the same thing, picked it up all by himself and buried the horse by himself at like 7 or 8 years old. And that was pretty amazing. Joe's got a knack for being able to do anything.
Turd.
You remember that?
Yeah.
All right, what was the next one we got to ask about?
Your favorite memory? Or was that it?
That was my favorite memory.
What
that
was
first?
he like as a child?
Oh, I missed it, didn't I?
Yeah, that's okay.
that was what he was like as a child.
Well, do you have a favorite memory?
You want me to do it over again?
You want me to tell you my favorite memory is when you were whooping his butt and running down the road.
Oh, yeah.
He had taken the hammer backwards and hit the porch rails.
Oh.
And you came after him with the belt, and he took off running down towards the stop sign, and you chased him the whole way down to the stop sign and back, whipping him.
He probably deserved it, for sure. Okay, so here's the other one. What he was like as a child. So when Joe was little, he was easy to get along with too. He had no problems. He was a big-headed little rascal, and you could just anything with wheels on it. If you gave him any kind of toy with wheels on it, he was happy. Or if you gave him anything he could take apart and tear up, he was happy. And he would he played with himself pretty well. He was pretty good about that. He was probably the easiest kid out of all of them to take care of as far as that stuff goes. Until he got older, and then he really started tearing stuff up. Taking everything apart.
And then your favorite quality or whatever you admire most about him.
I gotta find it. Oh, here it is. See, Joe's favorite quality probably is his wife, Gabby. So he has been a blessing to him and his family. She's the rock in the family, and I really appreciate Gabby. As far as Joe's quality, it's probably the ability. Joe has the ability to do anything one time, and he can do it forever. Anything that he takes on, he can do it. He has that ability to look at it, figure it out, and do it. Much more than I ever had. I mean, he's a mechanic. Any kind of work you're doing, whether it be carpenter work or whatever, show him what to do. You never have to show him again. He's going to learn how to do it and do it better than you did. That's just the way he is, and that's an amazing quality. I knew from a young age, when Joe was just a little bitty kid, that he would never go to college. He would just be somebody that worked with his hands and his mind, and he's proven that he can do that quite well. Oh, and let me talk about Gabby. So Gabby's a sweetheart. We love her to death. She's a great mama. I'm sure she's a great wife. And she's really done a really good job with the kids. It takes a special person to be able to travel around and support their husband when they do that kind of stuff. And it seems like she does a really good job of it. And teaching the kids, homeschooling the kids and stuff. And they got a great and beautiful family, and I'm sure they'll have a great future together.
Good. We love you, Gabby.
Yeah, we do. What I remember as a child.
But he was like, yeah.
Okay, so as a child, Jake was probably the hardest one of the bunch as far as he was sick a lot. You know, he never could drink no milk or anything like that there, so he had bad stomach problems all the time. He was a lot like Jesse too. He only had 2 or 3 people that he would let hold him. So I mean, you were busy holding him all the time because he didn't feel good. But it wasn't because he was a bad kid. He just didn't. We didn't realize that he couldn't drink milk or any kind of dairy products or anything else. It took us a long time to get that figured out. And then once we did, he was quite happy. He was pretty easy to deal with. He never wanted to go to bed by himself, but other than that, he was really easy to deal with as a child. What else is it?
Your favorite memory?
I'm looking. Hey, so my favorite memory with Jake, of course I had a lot with Jake too, but one of my most favorite memories with Jake was he was about probably maybe 4 years old, maybe something like that there. And I used to bathe with the kids, right? So I was bathing with him. That was our fun time to play in the tub and play with toys and stuff like that there and teach him how to play in the bathtub. And with Jake, I'd always pick on him and tell him to give me his best shot. And I would just hold my chin up there and let him give me his best shot, or give my best shot on the arm, and he'd punch me or whatever, you know. And so I said, come on, give me your best shot. And he'd do this right here. He'd get a little closer to me. He says, you want my best shot? I said, yeah, give me your best shot. He said, you want my best shot? I said, yeah, give me your best shot. So he'd get a little bit closer. You want my best shot? I said, yeah, go ahead and give it to me. And about that time, he frickin' surprisingly headbutted me in my frickin' face. I thought he broke my nose and knocked me out. And it was the funniest dang thing. I was crying and laughing at the same dang time. I'll never forget that as long as I live. And I never asked him to give me his best shot again. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it hurt. Yes. What was the other one, Jake?
Favorite quality?
I'm looking. He don't have no qualities. There he is. So probably Jake's best quality is his confidence in himself. I don't know if he's as smart as he thinks he is, but he has a quality that he can convince anybody that he's one smart little rascal and knows everything about everything. And somehow or another, he is very smart. He's very intelligent, no doubt about it. But he has that ability that he can go in there. If he were putting in for a job, he would convince whoever he was talking to that he was the best person for that job if he didn't even know anything about it. And that's just the way he is. He has that gift of gab to be able to do that. Even though he doesn't talk much, when it comes to himself, he can tell you right quick he's the best at everything. He is too, you know. Okay, so what I wish for my kids is that they would, most importantly, they'd be happy and financially stable somewhat so that they can take care of themselves. And they're already all drug-free. I have no problem with that. They're not alcoholics, so I'm really proud of that. I think they're all four of them are a great bunch of kids. And then the other thing that I wish that they would do is, and remember throughout their life, most importantly, is to live each day as if it were going to be your last day, because you never know what's going to happen. And always, always love your family and never go to bed mad at nobody, no matter who it is. Never, ever go to bed mad. I'm done.
I'm done.
I ain't crying no more.